Hi, Moatlhodi.
Morning, Lorata.
How are you? Good morning. Thank you so much for doing this again. The very next day. I appreciate you for waking up early.
Kaikepes.
I get this. I can see you have chosen a different spot today, this morning, in different outfit altogether. You're trying to make it less uptight.
Just for your viewers, I don't have as nice a background as yours, but this will do.
Yeah. At least you're not by the fridge today. Now this will be my consistent spot, unless I'm in the garden or something, because there's this dog barking next door. It always barks when I'm online for some reason. Yeah. So all right. So let's get back to our conversation yesterday, when we were disturbed by the internet. I think the very next thing that I wanted us to talk about was the Pula. What's going to happen to the value of the Pula in times like these, and how is it going to affect our income as well?
Yeah. Lorato, in giving an outlook for the Pula, I think it's important just to kind of give a sense of the regime that the Pula is associated with. So different countries actually employ different currency regimes for different reasons. So there's no one particular exchange rate regime that's more advantageous than the other.
Yeah.
It's just very determinant on the policy of the currency, especially around foreign investments, as well as foreign direct investments. In the Pula case, the Pula is a fixed exchange rate regime. Fixed meaning that it's actually tied to or associated to currencies of other countries.
Yeah.
In the Pula's case, it's actually pegged to the South African rand.
Yeah.
As well as 5 other currencies that are in the International Monetary Fund currency basket. The 5 being your British pound, your euro, your Japanese yen, your Chinese renminbi,
and the rand.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's tied to those, as well as the US dollar as well.
The US dollar.
Yes. So that's how a fixed exchange rate regime, its movement is determined by the movement of other currencies. Whereas other currencies, like your South African rand, the US dollar, are what you call freely floating, in that the value are determined by market forces of demand and supply. So when something is in high demand, it's almost like buying stuff. You know, when you are buying stuff in a shop and it's in short supply, the prices goes up.
Yeah.
That's the same dynamic with the freely floating currencies. When it's in huge demand, everyone wants to buy that stuff and the supply is either stable or going down, the currency value goes up. But when the opposite is true, when the supply is massive and everyone wants to, to dump it, to sell it, and very few want to buy or hold that currency, it loses value. So that's what we've seen with the US dollar and the South African rand in the past few weeks and months. So because we are in this environment where Corona has got everyone in a panic, the markets are closed and all of that, investors are preferring your safe haven currencies, the relatively stable ones, and buying more of the dollar and selling more of the weaker currencies or the volatile currencies or the rand. So because of that dynamic, buy more dollar, more demand for dollar, stronger dollar, selling more rand, less demand for holding rand because it's volatile.
Then it goes down.
Weakening rand, yeah. So now, where the Pula comes in, as I said, because it's a fixed exchange rate regime, its movement is determined by the movement of the currencies in the basket, which include the rand and the dollar. You then are seeing this scenario playing out. So the Pula's weakness against the dollar is simply because of the weakness of the rand against the dollar.
Yeah.
A very simplistic assumption, because of the peg, in the Pula currency exchange rate, the South African is weighted 45% weighting in the Pula basket. So a simple assumption, when the rand weakens 10% against the dollar, 10% weakness of the rand against the dollar, the Pula should weaken 4.5% against the dollar, simply because the rand is weakening against the dollar.
Yeah.
So that's the nature of the Pula regime. And then again, what then happens is it doesn't weaken as much as the rand will weaken against these other currencies because it still has those other currencies in the basket.
Yeah,
So
the stronger ones. Ah, yeah.
The stronger ones. So it kind of protects this movement. It kind of gives it a bit of stability, which is then what we are seeing. We'll see the weakness against the dollar on the Pula, but it's not as massive as the rand weakness against the dollar. For those simple reasons.
Because of the pound and the euro, which are actually supporting it. Ah.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. So how does this then, what you're saying is for as long as the dollar is still strong and the pound is still strong, the Pula will not be affected that much. As bad as what's happening with the rand right now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so the point is the extent of the weakness of the Pula currencies, especially like against the dollar and major developed markets currencies, your pound, your euros, won't be as much as the rand, simply because the basket itself, the regime, the exchange rate, the Pula exchange rate regime still have those baskets weighted in the Pula.
Yeah.
So you will have weakness, but it will still be cushioned by
those guys.
By the fact that those are in the basket.
All right. So basically, if the pound weakens and the euro weakens, it's going to affect the Pula directly.
Yes. So any of those currencies, the movement of any of those currencies, do have an impact of the Pula? I think the big difference is the weighting in the basket. So as I said, obviously, South African rand is the highest weighted at 45%. And then the other 55% is taken over by the five currencies. The biggest share in that 55% being the dollar. So the advantage is that a combination of the South African rand and the dollar makes up almost almost 80% of the weightings in the Pula basket. So if you want to know what happens to the Pula, just simply follow the rand. To give you a sense. Then, but you still know that the levels will be different in that you are protected by the other currencies. But you really want to know dollar Pula, follow the rand.
Yeah. That's very unfortunate right now for us then. If we are following as much as it's fortunate for us to be purchasing in South Africa, to a certain extent it also weakens our currency.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I think it's in different ways. So it's you're better off in that you are not as weakening as much with the dollar, unlike South Africa. But at the same time, you are strengthening against the South African rand, so which is where we primarily buy our goods and services. So you still tend to buy cheap. I think the risk that we can look into, let's imagine if Pula was freely floating at a time like this. And when currencies of less developed countries are not doing so well, we probably will see much more weakness than now when it's in this regime. So it's actually a balance.
It's very interesting because when you actually say the weakening of the rand, what has once happened, I remember, if you remember, during President Mogae's regime, there was a time he actually had to reduce the value of the Pula against the rand, simply because we are partners almost in everything. We buy everything from them, so maybe it became a little bit expensive for them to import to us. I like to believe that's the decision. Why he made that decision,
Yeah, you are bringing a very important point, because I remember that's a point that I usually discuss, especially with retailers. Retailers meaning the guys who are running your retail stores. What then used to happen, as you're saying, during that era where we saw that high depreciating the Pula, it's not something that we see anymore, because since 2005, there's been an enhancement to the way that the Pula exchange rate is run. They have added a layer which is called a crawl adjustment. So crawl, just imagine a that kind of sense. So the crawl now is a systematic way that the government of Botswana now kind of also manages the Pula exchange rate. So when you add a positive crawl, you kind of are mathematically kind of maybe appreciating the value of the Pula. When you add a negative crawl, which is the case that we have now, you kind of systematically depreciating the Pula in a systematic way. So before, as you said with Mogae, you'll wake up the next day and say Pula has been devalued by 5% or whatever. That doesn't happen anymore now, because that is being embedded in the exchange regime by a crawl. So a lot of people, maybe even your clients, will hear a lot of times saying, oh, the Pula exchange rate regime and the weighting has remained the same, but the crawl has been adjusted to plus 0.3% or to minus 0.3%. So that's what it means. The crawl now has replaced that devaluation that we used to have before 2005, where now it's used to systematically adjust the Pula movement against the other currencies on a more annual basis than where you wake up and hear this devaluation
Okay, yeah. Because the reason why I was asking that is that are we gonna go towards that direction if South Africa finds us expensive to import too, because we don't want that situation again to be happening the way it happened the last time. I know Botswana were not happy about that decision at the time. Yeah, okay. Inflation. Let's talk about inflation now. I know right now there is a few of us complaining about. It seems like prices are increasing they are not allowed to increase, but they are increasing in the shops. I would like to believe it's probably the demand of the goods and services that is causing that. So what do you think? How do you think inflation is going to be affected in Botswana with the recession?
Yeah, and before answering that, Lorato, let me answer the last bit of a question that I didn't address on the currency.
Yeah.
So, given what we've been chatting about, then the expectation is that at least in the short term, meaning in the next 2-3 months, we should still expect to see a bias towards rand weakness, so a stronger Pula against the rand. Then we should see a bias again of a stronger dollar, so a weaker Pula against the dollar. So I think that's the direction that maybe
it's going to affect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I should look into. So expecting a weaker rand, at least in the short term, and expecting a stronger dollar.
Actually, while you're on that, actually, I know we didn't touch too much on it. Is it best to now possibly buy some shares in South Africa right now of particular major companies there? Would it be the best move as an investor?
Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a financial planner, please take this at face value, just purely from a market watch perspective in terms of just
that's fine.
So I think you probably always address this in the sense that an investment profile of an investor almost tells you what it is that they want to do and the kind of risk levels that they want to take.
Yeah.
And then that kind of determines how much money they're willing to put in. But be as it may, yes, the opportunity.
Yeah, you saw that. At least you see it, yeah, because that means everybody's coming online now. Yeah.
So let's make So what you'll observe then is a lot of even your high net worth individuals, their wealth actually kind of exponentially grows during a period of a crisis or a downturn. That's because it comes with a lot of opportunities. So to your question, yes, there's pockets of opportunities. Why? Because share prices have dropped. Even if when you look at the stock exchanges across different shares, whether you took in banking, you took in manufacturing, you took in retail, they have dropped. That's an opportunity to buy low. The currency exchange as well, a weakness in the Pula means more value for your Pulas, and you're getting more rent, so you can buy those instruments. So absolutely there are pockets of opportunities, especially that this is a double dip. This is because we are in a recession throughout the world. What then means is you will have a path to recovery. So once the recovery comes, you then have a benefit on the upside when the prices start to kind of pick up a little bit.
Them at a lower price. Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Then you sell higher. So that's an opportunity to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So the question on inflation. Inflation can like a measure of price changes. So it gives you a sense of, are we seeing a broad-based increase in prices or reduction in prices, or prices are fairly stable? In the case of Botswana, I think we do know that the inflation targeting is done by the Central Bank of Botswana. They've put a medium-term inflation objective to say our inflation should range between 3 and 6% for the size of our economy and for the kind of growth that we need. So inflation is good and bad. Let's start by that way. So inflation is good and bad. In as much as it's tracking the change of prices, people don't want to hear it when you're saying it's good and that, okay, kind of you're saying prices are increasing, that's a good thing. it's a good thing if prices are increasing because there is demand. Remember the conversation already had even about currencies. When there's demand for products, it means you've got a healthy economy. People are earning income, and that demand is actually met with purchasing power. So that's the good side of inflation. When you see inflation, especially the one that's induced by demand, it's showing you that there's a booming economy. Companies are finding opportunities to expand. Products and services are being bought. People actually have the purchasing power to buy. You've got a healthy economy moving there. So that's the good part about it. Only if it's a demand-induced inflation, a demand pull. Equally so, it's bad when it's supply pressures. When you see inflation rising because you've got a supply push. Supply push then means the demand side, remember I'm saying this is where the consumer is buying more, businesses are growing naturally. So the supply push, which is why this one is push, is where you're having higher prices because of your volatile and administered prices going up. What are the administered prices? Fuel is an administered price, utilities in an administered price. You wake up the next day, BPC tariffs have gone up, water utilities tariffs have gone up, communication levy has gone up. So it's not so good when it's then on the supply push, when it's administered prices going up, or even your volatile prices going up, your food and your fuel going up. So that's the bad type of inflation. Okay, so now in the context of Botswana, we've had inflation trending much low for quite some while now. Very close to the 3%, which is the minimum that the central bank has put as a gauge. So with this COVID now, as well as the weaker rand, we should expect inflation to trend very close to 2% actually. Last year it averaged 2.8%. My expectation is that this year it would trade anywhere between 2.1 and 2.3%. So much lower than it was last year. Yeah. So 2.1, let's say anywhere between 2% and 2.3. And that's because of the reasons that I just alluded to. So inflation can happen in three ways. Either you've got a demand pull, which I just explained, where people are buying, salaries are increasing, and there's just healthy demand, and companies are just growing and selling stuff because the stuff is getting bought. Or you can have the supply push, which I just explained on instant prices, or you can have a mix of both. So the reason why that's the expectation of very low inflation is because you're not having a massive pull or push from either. Fuel prices have gone down, so that's a benefit for inflation, which will then go lower. Especially because with inflation, our inflation basket, the transport index, which is where fuel comes in, is the highest weighted. The reduction in fuel will have the most impact because that's where the most of the weighting and the inflation basket is coming from. Okay, and then the other one is a weaker rand that we just talked about. So because we buy primarily from South Africa, it means our net purchases are in rands, even for retailers who buy and sell here. So because of a weaker rand, they are then able to translate that foreign exchange benefit to the client by either keeping prices stable, Pula prices unchanged, are changing in South Africa, because I pay less for them in Pula terms. So then retailers normally will do that, where they will use the benefit of the weaker rand and then either giving sales here or reducing prices here. And it's a bit of a, they will do it also because it also gives them an opportunity to protect market share. So once you do that, you reduce the prices, people walk in the store and are buying other stuff that are not on sale. We saw that in 2016. Remember 2016 when Zuma fired Nene? And then the rand
it went down. It was crazy. I remember.
That's the time where if you remember, that's the time when we started having the price of testic rice being below 100 Pula, and they stayed there forever. At that time, testic rice was your 110 Pula and your whatever. So what happened because of that, the firing of Nene, the South African rand going as low as maybe your 1.4 to the Pula. Retailers then stockpiled on staples, on your staples, your food like rice, which doesn't really go. And then what they then did is they used that benefit. You have to understand consumer behavior. So you do that. You stockpile on staples. You give the benefit to the clients. You reduce the prices for those. Lorato works in because testing is all of a sudden 80 Pula, but you're not there just for testing. You're gonna buy the canned stuff, the veggies that on sale.
Yeah, but I came mainly for testing. Yeah, I get you.
Yes.
And then I'll buy everything else.
Yeah. So that's how the inflation plays out, because of that FX benefit, the weaker rent. So you probably will see retailers projecting that turf and market share.
Yeah.
They'll use that benefit to reduce prices, especially for staples that will get the traffic through the door. And then, the other stuff won't necessarily go on sale, but you'll have enough market share coming in, and you'll get some form of benefit on, your volumes or your turnover from the sales.
Yeah.
So that's also part of why the inflation will stay low, because, from a Pula perspective, some of the items will stay relatively stable.
Yeah. No, that's really, really, really good to hear. Thank you for that. Now, South Africa has actually been in recession for a while now. This pandemic has just worsened it. As a partner in everything, we're literally, most people say we are a province of South Africa. We're literally, get everything from South Africa. If things are going like this in South Africa, what should we worry about as Botswana, and what should we prepare for, and possibly start preparing now? What do you think? What's your view on that? Because I'm just worried that actually might just affect us. Even supply of food might affect us if that economy is not doing well. So what might happen? What should we prepare for? Basically, what should we do? How is it going to affect us? If we're
okay. Sorry, go on.
No, if we're to, estimate or, look forward and just, plan ahead as Botswana and say, you know what, this doesn't look good. Let's plan ahead. What can Botswana do in the meantime as Botswana as well? What can Botswana means us? We shouldn't be looking only at the government. It means us. What can we do as Botswana now to protect ourselves in case anything happens to South Africa and South Africa can supply us with food anymore, and they prioritize themselves first?
We know, okay. So if you remember, a few weeks ago, when South Africa was already in lockdown, they started to gazette restrictions of movement of even some PPE equipment.
Yeah, including vaccines.
Which we know is, which we know is in huge demand at the moment. So Botswana imports primarily from or through South Africa. And we're talking over 60%, even higher. But, clearly that gives you a sense. When I say from or through, it means even some of the stuff that doesn't necessarily come from South Africa directly to land in the ports, Durban, your PEs, your Cape Towns, or whatever, before it just comes through and they re-export it to Botswana.
Yeah.
So the biggest risk, if things worsen in South Africa from a production perspective or from a more inward-looking perspective, remember Trump, I'm America first. So if Ramaphosa goes in South Africa first, I'm reviving my economy, and I'm focusing on, just ensuring that it's, it's resuscitated and, all of that. It means for Botswana, for a country that, as I said, primarily imports from or through the economy of South Africa, it could add, further pressures on the supply value chain.
Yeah.
So Ghana supply value chain, in Botswana, we are not net producers of goods and services, we are net consumers. So we produce stuff that's coming from outside, majority South Africa or through South Africa. So that means then you might experience shortages of the stuff that, from including even some of your food items. Obviously, that's a worst case scenario. As I said, that's a scenario where South African economy overheats, where there are more stringent trade regulations being put in place that then kind of disrupts the goods coming here. There is also another risk. South Africa has over time been, in the instances of, your workers going on strike, if people in the mailing industry, also they go on strike, you don't get your packages here on time.
The truck driver,
strike, you don't get a fuel or food item. So there's also an opportunity, again, maybe open up lockdowns and they go on the streets and they say close down, disrupt the supply value chain. So that will always be the risk. In as much as if we import majority of our stuff from or through South Africa, that will always be a risk. Until a time where we can say, okay, we've not only diversified our production base, but we've also diversified our trade routes. Because then you've got different points of entry. We are land accessed. I never want to use land locked because that then almost means you're at the mercy of, that situation. So we land accessed, So either, the railway line or the trade routes that we've been exploring with Namibia or Mozambique, among others, that Kazungula Bridge going to the Kasane, that gives you access all the way to, to your Tanzania and the belt and the DRC. When you've diversified your trade routes, it also reduces your tensions or your negative tendency on the supply value chain. So that's the risk. The fact that our trade routes are not as diversified as we like them to be, and our production base is not as diversified as we like it to be. However, it's a huge opportunity. Because it then means individuals, but being businesses have got to tap into the value chain. I think the corona has brought in a different kind of thinking. As Botswana by be the blue consultancy. You want to go for an A-rated firm because it takes time to trust Lorato. Even when you trust them, you want to pay them a discount. So there's that discount that comes heavily with Botswana business, and somehow we don't participate in the value chain for whatever reason, So if I'm consuming bread, for example, or milk, or apples or tomatoes, I've got to appreciate, as a Motswana, I've got to appreciate the value chain. If I'm merely consuming tamati making ale Motswana rata le ka hale ma ditamati, that then means I'm not seeing the money that I'm circulating as playing a bigger role in the value chain. Because I get a tamati a half. Other small producers that are coming out to the market. So people don't realize that there are power actually in the economy. People just see the economy as this massive elephant that's almost very academic and difficult. But they don't see that we all are part of an economy and that our purchasing power is what creates part of the economy.
That is so true.
Because then use it.
When you actually make that point, because I was actually explaining this to one of our suppliers, I can't mention the name, one of my suppliers of a certain area in my business, where it was just delaying, and the delay was just caused by, inefficiency. That was it. I had to go to the boss of that particular area, that particular department, and explain to him, do you guys understand what this does? This delays everything. I'm not able to make money because of you. You're delaying, and therefore that means I'm gonna have to let go of my team because I can't pay them. You see, then we increase the unemployment rate. You see, it just like you're saying, the value chain all the way, and one of my team members could be easily your niece. I was saying that to him, these are the things that we don't understand, even in different departments when we're giving that service, to the entrepreneurs or to whatever, whoever needs the help, it trickles down to the T, that inefficiency just goes all the way to even your cousin losing their job because you are not helping this one to make money so that they can employ your cousin. These are you're right. I mean, it's not necessarily even on food or as well as it's on the consulting basis. If you don't support Motswana, Motswana is not able to sustain the economy. Thank you for making that point.
But so that's, I think that's the key takeaway, Lorato. So our purchasing power, what we use it on and how we use it, that's the purchasing power. Because if you are not necessarily buying, we have to also question our consumption patterns. Who are we buying from, and who does it benefit? Because me buying tomatoes as a retailer, I'm not doing them a favor. I'm buying it because I need to consume the product. But then also need to be a different level of consciousness where you like, the question of my money that I spent, how does it add on to the supply value chain? Let's say oreka moroko mo mengo and because you kind of can get a sense of where that money goes. And kind of the economy is made up of money. That's when you say you stimulate the economy, the money has got to change hands.
Yeah.
So when you concentrate it in large institutions and large multinationals, and also, especially because also as consumers, we're not conscious about it. We don't even say proactively demand, that a share of it being from local producers, or you don't even care when you go in there whether the beef that you're buying, it can be from Botswana or from SA or from wherever.
Yeah.
So we don't really care where the money goes. So that's where you get the product. You don't really care. So I think it's that conscious buying that needs to happen. Even when the large retailers have to be consciously buying, even products that are more high.
Yeah, that's true. So then the retailers are also forced to actually buy from our local suppliers because we are choosing our local suppliers. We want goods from our local suppliers. Yeah, and we actually and we demand it. And we say when we find Italian tomatoes, we ask, are these Italian tomatoes coming from Kansi? So these are the we need to be able to and actually encourage them to buy from local suppliers.
But the interesting thing again, which is an opportunity, I guess, for Motswana is really changed.
Oh no.
I lost you.
Yeah, I lost you too. I like how you just move on with your life, like, oh, I lost you. But it's I did
technology.
Just like, nope, I'm pausing. Yeah. All right. So I guess maybe we should go towards wrapping up so that before I think we're really pushing our luck now. Yeah.
No, true. I wanted to play both sides. So remember the consumer and conscious buying?
Yeah.
Equally so, the businesses as well. How can the business be like that's only the SMME? Equally so, they've got to be deliberate about commanding a certain share of the market.
Yeah.
And how do you do it? SMMEs, in my view, are not meant to compete with each other. Normally when you do like a client a business proposals and you look at what's your market, who are your key competitors and all of that. I strongly feel that SMMEs, in as much as you are aware of what dynamics you're facing, I feel a stronger business model is collaboration. If we produce the pumpkins, you actually stand a better chance collaborating with Moatlhodi on it because you then have bargaining power with the large retailers to get your stock on the shelves. They don't want to deal with 100 suppliers anyways.
Yeah.
So
then it becomes sustainable. That's such a
becomes sustainable.
Yeah.
Also, you augment. You're not worried that I'm not going to beat the order because I'll run short. Guess what? When Norapa has X tons and Masoko there has 10 tons and whatever, you then are consistently making sure that you please those who are taking the supplies from you because you can meet the demand. And then what it also does is it also improves the industry. Because I'm not going to just buy Maputi because I did Maputi. It needs to be of certain standard because we want to keep the orders coming. So you then help each other also to make sure there's some standards, there's some quality assurance.
This is such a good point. This is such a good point, Moatlhodi. Thank you for raising it because in Botswana we believe and we believe in this is mine and this is mine alone. We don't want to collaborate. And it's especially during this time. This is a time for us to possibly now start seeing where we collaborate and actually, like you're saying, the value chain. It will actually, we should command it, and how we command it also is through collaboration and making sure that we can at least be sustainable because that's what the shops will complain about, the retailers will complain about. Sustainability in terms of supply. Or you're not able to bring them because and such a good point. Yeah, collaboration that we should encourage.
Let's also face brutal facts. I agree with you 100%. Let's face brutal facts. Business economy, it's also meant to create industries create corporates. The SMMEs will devolve. They whole into corporates that can become multi-billion.
Not necessarily remain small. Yeah, you don't have to remain small. Yeah.
And there's actually also nothing wrong with creating Botswana multi-millionaires. I think an economy has to deliberately also create millionaires and wealth because it should trickle down.
100.
So, so I think with that kind of in mind, you consciously kind of have that value chain. And happy tota. So my sister is going to analysis. No, Botswana are not entrepreneurial in that they don't run successful businesses. True. In a lot of cases. In even other businesses, say South Africa and say you find that your farmers, your guys in the real estate gurus have actually had to it's generational wealth.
Yeah.
It's businesses that they'll go to school and learn accounting like you did or finance like I did, but that they're going straight to running their farm, which is acres and acres of land. They're producing corn for years.
We should be doing that for our kids. Yeah, I get you.
So for us, we don't necessarily have generational wealth in the form of businesses that have been run by different many families from this country. So your best bet really is to have some form of collaborative cooperatives that then can lock in that value chain much earlier, because otherwise it would take that generational wealth for us will take millennia to create.
Somebody requesting a meeting, that's right. Yeah.
Even our great grandchildren would say, so let's go that way.
No, definitely. That's a really good encouragement, because my next question was, what's the opportunity now? What can Moatlhodi do and build, help in building the economy in that corner? You've just said it. You've just answered the question, basically. Yeah.
Actually, we have got some models that we just need to look at them differently. The essence of Moatlhodi is a cluster. It's a collective pot for a common purpose, and you've got some level of understanding. It's almost like a shareholder agreement.
And then we all benefit.
We all benefit. So it's only that we're not elevating it to a capital structure. We just take it as a social structure. And we don't even care what so the essence of it, that you elevate it to some form of an investment cluster. Imagine after
instead of keeping.
So you now move to that structure. We already have the basics. We just need to think of it like a capital investment structure now.
100.
Which is then meant to generate cash flow, not consumption. Because it's not an investment when it's consumption. If you are doing
that's true.
And also, you remember there used to be the corporas.
I remember.
You buy cooperatives, I'll buy paraffin cooperatives, you have a cooperative shop. That model worked because the corporation is owned by the community. All of that. So the value chain was locked in. Creating employment, the money staying within there. Some of them are running butcheries, saloons. So that's also another model which showed how clusters also can work in cooperatives, because you also look in the value chain, who you are buying from, who it benefits, who they're employing, and all of that. So that's also another opportunity that I think over this period we can explore as Botswana. We are looking to invest.
And let's go all out. Let's go all out. I mean, it's really possible. We can do it. We just need to apply ourselves. And obviously remember what it was, not consumption, but rather ensure that you invest into your business and think about the future, generational wealth. The income will come. The benefits, the return on investment will come. Especially when you're running a business, it's tough at the beginning. Don't be impatient. Just keep going. I think that's another thing. It discourages people to actually get into entrepreneurship and be self-sustainable and then feed your family, feed yourself. It's because it's literally hand to mouth. The money comes in, it's hand to mouth. We don't reinvest into the businesses. There's no patience. There's no collaboration. We need collaboration is so key in this conversation and in this kind of thing that we would like to do and encourage Botswana to do. Thank you so much for this conversation. We're going to have a lot more so that the followers should know. But we will be having a lot more conversations with Moatlhodi, exploring everything that we can do to make our lives better during this time and ensure that we come out better as an economy. Yeah?
Yes, Rob.
Yeah, thank you. You're so brilliant. Thank you so much for letting me tap into your brain.
Pleasure.
Yeah, all right. Let me get you back to work. I think now you you feel somebody trying to call in that side. It's starting to get hectic. Yeah. Thank you so much, Moatlhodi. You should have a good evening. We will have our recording. I'll let the people know when we'll have our next recording. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks.
All right.
You too. Have a lovely week. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.